Hello everybody, I'm the Flaming Witch, but you can call me Flame, and welcome to a character retrospective slash analysis. So I'm making this video specifically because of a Tumblr post that I saw yesterday as of recording this. I don't know when it came out, I didn't actually check, I forgot to, but it's whatever. I will put the screenshots of the post that I took up now so that way you can read, but I'm going to basically I'm basically going to read this and then explain my thoughts on this as someone who's been in the Miraculous fandom since before season 2 came out. Um, just because this feels like one of the weirdest takes I've ever seen in the Miraculous fandom, and I'm going to explain why. But first, let's just go over this. One of my peeves with the Miraculous fandom is that they like to drag the Marinette is a crazy stalker thing. You'll always use the three same scenes and exaggerate them more than they need to be. And these are the same people who don't talk about Adrien's flaws. No one talks about the episode in season 4 where it shows his hidden folder on his computer filled with Ladybug pictures. I think the episode is called Zeta 2. Since we're diving deep into the character's actions and definitely not exaggerating stuff, why don't I see people talk about Adrien's weaponized incompetence for the most part? This is in regards to the amount of times he unnecessarily sacrificed himself in battle. Him sacrificing his life was not necessary sometimes. You know it, and I know it. The MLB fandom loves to drag Marinette, but where's the discussion about how Cat Noir always gets upset at Ladybug for things that are not her fault or stuff she warned him about? Example, the first Glaciator episode, which Ladybug told Cat Noir she wasn't able to meet up with him, and Cat Noir still set up the date and got mad at her for not showing up when she already told him she wouldn't. If we as a fandom love to exaggerate things, Bro gave up his Miraculous like every other week. Marinette doesn't have that luxury. Even in the episode Catwalker, he was sitting at home in his pajamas complaining watching Ladybug fight the villains with a few extra heroes to help her. He was complaining about how she's replacing him and the new heroes or something like that. I haven't watched the episode in like 2 or 3 years now. Maybe she wouldn't have gotten the extra heroes to help her if he was on the battlefield helping. He's always sacrificing himself and expects Ladybug to beat the villain alone. If you guys are, as a fandom, are going to constantly complain about Marinette, I expect the same treatment for Adrien. Complain about Marinette all you want, your life, your opinions, but don't act like Adrien is the best thing to happen to the show. Now, if you have been in the Miraculous space for longer than 5 fucking minutes, you'll know firsthand that a good like 90 to 95% of the fandom doesn't think this. In fact, they think the opposite. A good chunk of the fandom fully just ignores Marinette's stalkerish tendencies in favor of either berating Adrien for his incompetence, his weaponized incompetence, as this person says. The thing is, I it's such a wild take for someone to think that the fandom doesn't talk about Adrien's shortcomings. The fandom loves to insult Adrien for his shortcomings. The fandom loves to just completely ignore the fact that Marinette is not a good person. I have talked about this on multiple occasions. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it in a video, but I've thought about this so much. I've talked to one of my best friends about this all the time. Marinette is a terrible person, and she should have never been chosen to be Ladybug. Now, does that mean that I am under the impression that Cat Noir / Adrien is good or better? No, fuck no. Like this person points out, Adrien doesn't use it, but the show uses Adrien's incompetence to explain away certain things that he has done or said, and I just, oh my god, this take is crazy. I'm not, for the complete record, I am not mad at this person. I am not like upset at this take. I'm just so confused how someone can be in the space for any amount of time and think that it's this when in reality it's the opposite. So let's go over and kind of break this down piece by piece. The first part of this is that we always use the same 3 scenes and exaggerate them, and also because Adrien actually has that massive folder of Ladybug pictures. Now, we don't exaggerate those scenes at all. The fandom never exaggerates those scenes. Maybe a little tiny bit, but not to the point where we're completely taking anything out of context. If you had ever watched the episode Gigantitan, you'll know that Marinette has Adrien's entire schedule for an uncomfortably long amount of times. And if you didn't know, I don't remember what episode this is revealed in. However, during one episode, Marinette reveals that she has like 50 plus presents for Adrien for his next like 20 some odd birthdays and all of the holidays for each of those years as well. Yeah, that's weird. Um, Especially because she's specifically planning out his life in a way to make sure that these gifts, when she gives them to him, actually work and make sense. That's weird. That's uncomfortable. What? That's not exaggerating the scene. That's just what happens. I remember the episode was Christmaster because she was trying to hide all of her gifts. I think she does actually say in the episode, this is for Adrien's next so and so birthdays. You know what? I'm actually gonna check. Hold on. Yeah, here's the transcript. Here's the exact transcript. Marinette in her head says, look, I can't tell you that these are the gifts I've made for Adrian's next 35 birthdays. You know, I didn't even realize this at first, but it also even has her saying, wait, am I crazy? I probably am. Like, what? Why do you have his next 35 birthdays planned? You guys are 15. Why do you even have his next birthday planned unless you just found something? What? What? Huh? I. Okay. So, again, that's weird. Marinette is a stalker and she's creepy, and the fandom maybe slightly exaggerates the scenes sometimes, but there is no explaining away her 35-year plan for Adrian's birthdays. Like, what? Then the second part of this is that Adrien has a hidden folder on his computer filled with pictures of Ladybug. Okay, and first of all, that's not stalkerish because he either got those pictures either permission by Ladybug, and even if he didn't, he's not just sneaking pictures of Ladybug at random times. A good majority of those pictures almost definitely came from the Ladyblog itself, and while it's never confirmed or said, it's very easy to confer that because we have never once seen Cat Noir take pictures of Ladybug without her permission. Granted, we've never seen him take pictures of her regardless, but my point still stands. We have never ever seen him do something like that, so there's no reason to assume that he would or want to. So having those pictures, again, is not that weird. Besides, how many people with celebrity crushes have just had a massive folder of those people? I mean, hell, back like a year or two ago when people were simping over Josh Hutcherson, I mean, people still are, but back when that was trending with Josh Hutcherson in that specific whistle edit, so many people had so many of those saved. Would you call that stalkerish? Would you call that weird? No, it's just having a celebrity crush. Sure, Cat Noir is weird with his crush, but you're specifically talking about his folder with Ladybug pictures. That's just something a normal 15-year-old would have. That not weird. And of course, going back into exaggeration and going into your next part, Adrien's weaponized incompetence, as you called it. Adrien has been sheltered for 14 years of his life. He has just barely turned 14. He's not even 15 yet. And for 90% of his life, he has been sheltered at home with the only connection to the outside world being through the brand of Gabriel and being through Chloe of all people. Not even Sabrina, Chloe. Adrien isn't going to have the mental empathy and understanding to be able to properly just exist. Now, I'm not saying that his incompetence isn't horrible and definitely something that shouldn't be used like to explain away things as much as it is, but you also have to keep in mind that Adrien isn't incompetent because he wants to be or because he's using his stupidity again like for anything. He is specific. He is just dumb. He's just sheltered and he's 14. And of course, that goes into his needlessly sacrificing himself. The thing is, again, Adrien doesn't understand what he's doing is wrong. He gets an idea, and he has this idea in his head, and he thinks, okay, I need to make sure that Ladybug can do what she needs to do. And in a lot of cases, He does it because he has to. The episode specifically that comes to mind in support of this in this is, I can't talk, Jesus, is Gamer 2.0. During Gamer 2.0, the two here, Ladybug and Cat Noir, are able to actually get through the battle. However, at the end, they learn that they have to fight each other on a one-on-one, because otherwise a 2-on-1 is unfair, and Gamer always plays fair. So, because Cat Noir knows that he can't purify the Akuma or cast the Lucky Charm or cast the Miracle Cure on his own, he sacrifices himself in order to make sure that he just is fine. Because if he didn't sacrifice himself in that case, they would have lost. That's just, yeah, that's it. That's the end of story. They would have lost if he had not sacrificed himself in that sense. Now, there were a lot of needless sacrifices. Yes, I agree. Even Ladybug at some points is like, you're stupid, don't ever do that again. So, obviously, it makes sense. Now, for this next point, you pointed out how specifically during Glossiator, Cat Noir got upset at Ladybug, specifically because she told him that she likely wouldn't be able to make it to the date, and then he still got upset at her anyway. Now, again, Cat Noir is sheltered as all hell, and he was just really, really holding out hope for it. Now, I agree that he shouldn't have gotten out as upset as he did with her, but at the same time, again, he's 14, and he's sheltered as hell. I know I'm using him being sheltered as kind of an excuse, but you also have to keep in mind that if not for his sheltering, he wouldn't act like the way he does 90% of the time. And again, 14-year-olds. So you can't really be mad at him for that. So as for your next point with Cat Noir giving up his Miraculous all the time, there is actually a video called In Defense of Cat Noir, which is in reference to the New York special in which Cat Noir gives up his Miraculous. And I have to say that this is probably one of my favorite videos that I've ever watched, because this is actually a very, very good explanation and example of kind of why Cat Noir does what he does and why he thinks the way that he does. So I do highly recommend you go and watch that if you want kind of more of an explanation as my thought process. I haven't watched it in a while, so hopefully I'm not entirely wrong with it. But the long and short of it is that Cat Noir doesn't know any better. When he thinks he does something wrong, he thinks he does something wrong in such a way that it can never, ever be fixed. And that is something that's proven, can't talk. That is something that is proven throughout the way that he thinks about himself and throughout the way that other people have thought of him throughout his life, especially Gabriel. And I just, So yes, please go watch that because it'll help with my point in this. But like I said, Cat Noir is sheltered. Cat Noir doesn't know how to think of anything other. Well, okay, he doesn't know how to think things through properly. Gabriel taught him to be a model. Gabriel did not teach him to be a human. You have to remember that. Because Adrien is a Sentimonster, his entire thought process is skewed in the way that Gabriel wanted him to think, because Gabriel had his amok for a majority of the time. And the only time that Gabriel did not solely possess his amok was before Emily passed, and when Natalie had temporarily had the other twin ring. So of course, Adrien isn't going to know how to properly think, properly act, properly do all of these things. Now, I will say with this next part, Ladybug fighting villains and Cat Noir complaining that she had gotten other heroes to help when he should be helping, and he could have gone and helped. I do agree that he definitely could have and should have. However, you also have to keep in mind that he wasn't just pouting because she had gotten extra help, or that he had gotten just other people around. It was that he specifically was upset because Ladybug didn't trust him anymore. She not only didn't trust him, but she trusted him so little that it wasn't until the end of season 5 or the end of season 4 when she lost everyone else that she realized just what she was doing. Now, this isn't to excuse her actions, especially for everything that she put Cat Noir throughout the events of seasons 3 and throughout the events of season 3 and 4. However, it does give it a reason as to why Cat Noir acts the way that he does, because he saw Ladybug recruiting the other heroes as a "she doesn't need me anymore." So much so to the point where the only times until season 5 that she actually thought that she needed him was during the ephemeral timeline when she knew who he was and she knew how to call on him. What? What do you mean? What do you mean the only time that she needed his that she actively sought out his help was when she directly knew how to call him? Huh? Ladybug didn't care about Cat Noir until she knew that it was Adrien, or until she realized the fault in her ways when she lost the other Miraculous and therefore lost her allies. It's it's so bothersome to me that people see Cat Noir acting the way that he does as a his problem and not a Marinette problem. Everything that Cat Noir does, that Adrien does, is specifically because of the way Ladybug and Gabriel and everyone else around him treats him. You have to remember that. I'm not the last part of this was kind of just whatever, so I'm not going to kind of go over that again. But again, everything that Adrien and Cat Noir does is a direct result of how Ladybug, Gabriel, and everyone else around him treats him. Marinette is a horrible person. Gabriel is a horrible person. A lot of Adrien's friends aren't the best people, especially the girl squad, minus Alex, who was the only one who actually kind of cared about his feelings. Rose, Milan, Julika, and Alia are all also horrible people because they never once stopped to think about Adrien's feelings when they decided to try to get Marinette and him together. What? What are you talking about? He is not some puppet to be strewn around for your guys' entertainment to hook up with your best friend. That's insane. Adrien and Cat Noir are traumatized characters. So much so to the point where everyone just doesn't see it like that. People want in-depth characters. They want these characters to feel real. But then the moment that they're traumatized, they are dropped and they are disregarded to the point where people misinterpret their characters and their actions to the point where they are just not real anymore. And that's why Cat Noir is actually a good person. That's why Adrien is a good person. He isn't the best person, and by far should probably not have gotten the Cat Miraculous when he did. However, Ladybug isn't either. Marinette is a bad person, and I don't think she should have ever gotten the Ladybug Miraculous. Maybe becoming a hero would have slowly made her a better person, but I don't think she should have been the holder of the Ladybug Miraculous. I think she should have been the Mouse Miraculous, and I think Adrien should have had something else too. Maybe even nothing, to be honest. The thing is, neither of them should have been Ladybug and Cat Noir. Adrien and Marinette are not great people. Adrien is traumatized and he needs to heal before he can help others. Marinette is just not a great person because she also needs to heal and learn the errors of her ways before she can properly help others. I mean, I can go on a whole other spiel about how Ladybug being how she is the reason for why Chloe lost her character development in the show. But that's another video. So, Cat Noir and Marinette and their other counterparts they are so misinterpreted through the fandom, because this person claims that Adrien should be seen as incompetent, he should be seen as stalkerish, he should be seen as evil, when that's not true. Not only does the fandom already see it that way, but that's just objectively not true. He is just a traumatized 14-year-old, and he's not even human. He's being controlled to act the way that he acts. Sure, he has some free will, but not enough to truly understand what he's doing is wrong until he can finally break free at the end of season 5. And this person claims that Marinette isn't talked to, is completely scorned by the fandom, claiming that she's a stalker, because she is. It's not just something that people claim. She is. She's a stalker. She abuses her powers. She's just not a good person. But the fandom doesn't like to see it that way. The fandom likes to make Marinette out to be this fucking angel. The fandom likes to make Adrien out to be this horrible person. But neither of that is true. Marinette is not a good person, and Adrien is traumatized. And, of course, Marinette's not good person comes from the fact that she herself is just mentally unstable and needs help. So, again, Marinette needs help. Adrien needs help. Neither should have been a hero. Neither should be treated the way that they are by the fandom. Marinette shouldn't be babied, and Adrien shouldn't be made out to be a monster. So, yeah, that's what I think. I don't know if I don't honestly know how cohesive this story is gonna be, or because I didn't. Did I just say story? I don't know how cohesive this video is gonna be because a good chunk of this just was not scripted. I just saw this post yesterday and I had to make a video on it. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed my little character analysis. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, even if you don't agree with me. So thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.